Hey guys, Dave Schopius here. This is an amendment to my last video. I believe the name of it was called Leg Section Reveal. I had decided that I needed more power coming up into the main section of the robot because I did some calculations and some thinking, and just one 30 amp power supply probably would have been okay, but I didn't want to risk any kind of brownouts or power voltage sags or anything like that that would cause lights to dim, or things like that Easy B from Easy Robotics robot controller to reboot, because it's like a computer, if the power gets too low, or if there's a power sag or some kind of draw that would draw the amperage away from that little guy, he would reboot. So just a little quick recap here. This guy runs on a dual power supply. I have those two batteries right there tied together. And I did have just one power supply. You can see it down there. I'm not going to take it all apart, but it's laying horizontal in there across underneath the battery, and it was activated by a switch back here, and then I could choose, either up, down, up for battery, down for external power, or center where it is right now for off. So you flip it up, these batteries would kick in. Flip it down, the batteries would be cut off, and external power would be fed up. And that was all done through relays. That you can see two relays right here. So what I did, one is for battery power and the other is for external power, and it switches between them. I added, I don't know if you can see it down there, probably not. I added another power supply down there. You can see it way down there underneath the battery. Again, it's laying horizontal. But here's the deal. It's not a good idea to tie two power supplies together, or else you could have one hogging load from the other, and it's just not a good idea. So I needed to separate them and bring up a whole different circuit from that second power supply down there. That meant I had to put in another relay over here. So that's what we got. The thing I had to remember that even though I separated them here, I couldn't tie them into the main bus, or else it'd still be tying it all together. So what I have is a external power supply coming up from one power supply through this relay. The new power supply comes up onto this relay, and then it stays split, and I have a second right here, a second circuit, a wiring block that keeps the circuit. So I'll have actually two circuits going up into the robot main body. Right now, the rest of this equipment here is being run off the very first power supply I put in. So I'm not going to go through all this mess here. It's really not a mess. It's kind of a organized mess. The power comes up, the main power comes up right through here. And you can see on these Anderson power pins, there's four of them. That's one circuit for the original power supply, and the other circuit for the new power supply. However, if I switch it onto batteries, because of the way these relays are wired, it turns those off and kicks this one on, and I've actually got them tied together through this one side of the relay. So they'll both feed the same battery supply up. I hope that makes sense. So basically, when the external power is engaged, these are split. When I have it up in battery option, it's all tied together through the battery. And the power supplies are cut out of this circuit. So it's like magic. So bottom line is I have 2 circuits coming up. Depending on how it's being run, it's either 1 or 2. But that goes up into the robot, up into the body right there. Well, that is the central. That's the central. That's where everything stacks up. Okay, that's my internal skeleton. Sorry about that. I had a brain fart. So what we have down here is just basically really quick. The 2 batteries are tied together right here. On the bottom one goes from here to here, and this top one is AC current coming across to feed this other power supply I have down here. So I had to add a second cord coming across, and I have them split here because the legs there need to go down. See the legs over there? They actually need to come down through here, and once I get the legs in place, I plug these together and put this thing back on. You can see that in my other video. So, and what are these? This is actually the power going up to the motor for my waste section over there. It runs this motor, and you can see back here I have 2 switches. Those are limit switches, and I have another right here. These go up to the limit switches and the encoder for the motor. So I'm going to close down this video right now, step away, put this together, and show you how it all looks once it's put together. Okay, and we'll test the voltages and we will see what we have. More to come. Stand by. Okay, we're back just for a minute here. I just wanted to stop. I've got the legs installed, and I wanted to show you how it looked with everything in place. It's kind of a tight fit down there. Next thing I need to do is put the waste plate and bolt it down. I just want to make a quick note of something here. You'll hopefully you can see this. Let me grab a flashlight here. Okay. Okay, so I don't know if this will help, but I do have everything wired up down in there. There we go. That might help just a little bit. Power coming up from the batteries and the converters, and going back down to the wheels, because this is mobile on both sides through those Anderson power pins. Those Molex connectors there you can see are basically just for my toggle switch and that battery indicator that I have down there. That's what those are. The other thing I want to mention here is these wires coming up. If you notice, I have everything kind of separated down there, and there's a reason for that. These are pretty much the signal wires coming back from the switches, the limit switches, and the encoders over there, down there. And this side over here is power going up. And the reason I've got them, you want to keep those, even coming from this EZB over here, you want to keep those as far away from the power section as possible because of EMS, the electrical magnetic fields come out in bands from these wires, and they screw up the signals coming on these small wires. So you want separation or shielding or something. So I've got them nicely separated. I had a problem with that at first. Getting a little bit of distance away really helped. I don't have any problems anymore with false readings or signals or nothing like that. Everything seems to work. So you can see this will come up in another place. And well, what I'll do now is I will stop this right now and put that waste section on, plug everything together, and you can see how everything is separated. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. More to come. Okay, I'm back. I've got everything put together now. The leg section is in place. It just set down on there, and it's sandwiched between the subplate and the waist section and the tread section. I showed all that on a different video. So here is the what looks like it's just simply bolted down. Just old-fashioned bolts that I access through the access port there and reach underneath there and bolt them down. And I just wanted to show all the electronics running down in there. And I have everything nicely, hopefully, I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll try to show it to you. Everything's nicely separated. All the electronic signal wires are, that's kind of a joke, isn't it? I'm sorry. Anyway, the electronic signal wires are all separated nicely from the power wires. The power wires I have coming up on this side for the motor, and these are the signal wires coming up for the encoder down there on the bottom of the motor, and coming around for the 2 limit switches. So right now I have it disconnected from the wall. It is on external power. I'm sorry, yeah, it's on external power, which is battery. I'm sorry, it's on battery power, not external power. So that should, I mean, once I have the CSS, the central support system, right there plugged in to, well, you know what, I don't have the main power coming up, main power plug coming up. Let me pull that up for you. There it is. Bing. Okay, that'll plug right into the bottom of the CSS down there, which I'm still building, but plugs into these 4 plugs here. And when I put it on, that'll sink down inside there and give me room for it to turn and kind of twist. But that CSS fits right down on here. And we're good to go then. This bolts down with thumb screws. So I have it on battery power, and once the battery power will not only feed everything down below and the tread section, but it'll also feed everything above. Once I turn it to external power, the tread section will not be fed and can't be moved because it'll be plugged into the wall. So right now I've got them moving. It's really nice. Ta-da, see? Back them into place. Okay, with that said, my leg section is pretty much done. All I have to do is bolt on the side panels, and that'll just take a few minutes, and that'll be done. I'm from here, I'm moving on up through the CSS and the torso, and I will make videos as I go. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning of the movie, but I am rebuilding this robot for a fellow Lost in Space robot enthusiast from up north, up in Massachusetts, I think. So this is for you, Steve. I hope that you like what I'm doing so far. Everybody take care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.